Welcome to another episode of Streetpreneur Podcast, where we go to the streets to find the most creative and innovative entrepreneurs and small business owners. And today I have a very special guest. She is a celebrity publicist. I want to welcome Kimberly KP Parks to the show.
Hey, thank you for the invite. I'm glad to be here.
Definitely. It's been a while. No, we, been trying to get in touch with each other for a while to make this happen.
Your schedule and my schedule is two different schedules.
I know, but we here.
We are.
Yeah, and we're going to do what we come to do today.
Let's go.
All right. Tell them a little bit about where you from and how did you get your start in this celebrity game?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm originally born and raised here in Atlanta.
Okay.
Been here all my life. I've been into this game now for about 5 or 6 years. I started with my own podcast back before COVID hit called Love and Hips TV. And I did that with a couple because I used to model. I was a full-figure model for like 15 years. And I got with a couple of other people from the podcast, and we just did a podcast about dating as a full-figure woman. How is the industry as a plus-size model or plus size? So we did that for a while, and then after that, I kind of jumped into, working with a lot of media companies. And I got with a media company called Media Girls Network, got with them, and start working, and then that's how I connected with a guy named Ant, and he connected me with Def Jam. So it's just like we just started working, and from that point on, I took off. It was over.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as on the publicist side, who was your first client? Who was the first artist that you worked with in the industry?
Ooh, good. That's a good question. The first artist that I was working with. Ooh, Lord, it's so many. I can say for sure, I would say his name is Sean Artiste.
Sean.
Yes, he's dope because he's a writer, he's a singer, and he raps. So I've been working with Sean for a while. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
People ask this question all the time. For those people who are not in the music industry, and also the people who are thinking about getting into the music industry. What is the role of a publicist?
Ooh. So a role of a publicist is to bring exposure to your brand. Okay. So if you are an artist and nobody knows your music, as a publicist, we help you get this exposure as far as radio, making sure you're on radio, podcasts, different blogs, different magazines, celebrity invites with the major, any kind of events that they have in Atlanta that will be great for your networking. We get you in certain events. So we bring that limelight to you. We bring that exposure to you. We actually have the power to bring you to different record labels to say, hey, look at this artist. I think this artist is dope. I think it'll be a great part of your brand. And, we have that. We are the missing piece. Once you get your numbers and all of that together, your analytics and all that, once that's together, then that's when you will bring in a publicist. Until you get that together, you will never need a publicist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your role as a day-to-day activity? What do? You just mentioned some of the services that you offer. So on a day-to-day basis with a new client that you've just secured, what would be some of the daily activities you would do for that particular client who just signed up with you? So
my newest client is actually a comedian. His name is Rod, a.k.a. Remo, but he's also the creative writer for MTV Wildin' Out from Nick Cannon.
Right.
So me networking with a comedian has been different because I've always worked with artists, but the media part is easy. So with him, what we're working on now is we're rebranding. So we're giving him different looks. So we're doing photo shoots for him now. And we're going to rebrand his look a little just to, let people see, okay, yeah, he has that comedian side, but he's also a businessman as far as the creative writer. So we want to tap into both sides of that. So he already had his bio. He already had his press kit. So stuff like that was kind of already easy. He just needs the remarketing, the branding, and any kind of different events that we think would be good as far as him hosting or him, attending as, a comedian or either somebody from the cast from Wildin' Out. Then we'll, see which will be a good fit for him, and then we'll add him into the mix and get him booked at major events.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also tell my viewers the importance of being on the scene. As far as networking, being on the scene, and being able to interact and meet new potential clients.
That's very important. If you want to be an exclusive publicist, it's not necessary to pull up at everything, because if you pull up at everything, that means you're not exclusive. Nobody has access to you. Okay. So for me, if you want to consult with me, I charge $250 for an hour just to consult. Okay. The problem lies in a lot of people in this industry know me, so they be like, they call my phone or they do, KP, I need to talk to you. So sometimes it's give or take, because it's not as, whatever. But, you want to go to events that you're going to be able to really, if you want to just say, if you want to target or market with the CEO of 1501, that's Megan That's Megan Thee Stallion's label. Yeah. So you want to market and target exactly what your aim is, what your goal is. And if they're going to be there, you make sure you go and you make sure you present yourself. Hey, I am this person. This is what I do. I would like to work with you. I would like to sit down and have a conversation with you, set up some time to do a consultation with you. Just go to events that are going to be major for whatever you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Good. And also the difference between professional publicists. You might meet an artist and be like, hey, well, I'm doing this myself. I can do what you do myself. Just kind of break down the difference between you doing it independently versus hiring a professional like yourself.
Well,
I'm sure you've heard that people.
Yeah, they do, and
I don't need KP.
I run into a lot, because right. when artists reach out to me, I said, first thing I asked them, I said, who's your manager? Because I would like to work with the manager. I don't necessarily like to work with the artist. Right. So they be like, well, I don't have a manager. It's just me. I already know that's going to be a problem, because you can't be artist. You can't set you up for events. You can't write up bios. You can't get you in these exclusive events. It's too much. So you're getting pulled through, so many ways.
You can't wear all the hats.
Yeah, you can't wear all the hats. So, right. And a lot of people don't want to pay the fee of a publicist. They want to keep all the money in-house. Okay. 9 times out of 10, when I work with new artists like that, it is a retainer. I don't necessarily tell you what my prices are, but it is a retainer. Right. And then sometimes they don't want to pay that retainer. Well, if you don't want to pay that retainer, what I also do is, if I get you booked at any event, I charge a percentage. Normally, my percentages run between 15 to 20% of whatever the budget is, if you don't want to pay that retainer. But normally, if I work with artists that don't have a whole team, you're going to pay that retainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Or you just don't need a publicist. Or you might want to go with somebody else.
Right. That's true. And what are 3 other characteristics that you look for in a client?
Work ethic.
I know people pop up, well, be my publicist, can you do this?
No, but I want to know what you do when I'm not around you, because...
Okay. Kind of break that down.
Right, because I am a full-time supervisor at a Wellstar hospital. So I work a very corporate job. So I do that. A single mom, 2 kids. My son plays ball in college. He plays pro ball. Okay. So I wear that hat all day, every day. On top of that, I'm at every networking event that is major. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's always something for me to do. I'm always networking. I'm always doing some kind of promotion. I'm always reaching out to clients. I'm always on the phone doing interviews. I'm always working. So if I'm working harder than you and you are the artist, then we have a problem. I'm not a babysitter. This is your career. I tell them all, this is your career. So you only going to work as hard as you work. If you work hard and I work hard with you, then we going to be a great team. But if you want to just sit back and be like, well, KP, I did this. Can you put me in front of this person? We're not going to work. Okay. You got to put in the work.
Right. Let's talk about media relations.
Okay.
As far as you maintaining your relationships with different media outlets, from print to radio, as far as staying in contact with them, how do you cultivate those relationships when you have a new client and you want to bring them over and you be like, hey, well, this is my newest clients and I want him published, or I want him on this particular. How do you pitch a client, in other words?
Well, for the major radio stations like the V103s and Street, 94.5, all those radio stations, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Unless you are already a major artist that's like real big headliner.
Established already. Right. Tell us.
That's not going to work.
Right. Tell us how it works.
Now, if you are like a B-lister, C-lister, maybe a D-lister, I can get you on certain radios, not the major, the V103s and all that, but I can get you and do a little promo run with you with a couple of major podcasts that are great podcasts that can bring you that same exposure as radio. I do know a lot of radio stations that does digital radio, online radio. We can get your numbers and stuff played that way. But major radio stations, that don't work. Because just for example, I know Greg Street. So Greg Street is not okay, yeah, he's an artist. Greg gonna be like, okay, that's nice. But no, it doesn't work that way. Unless you're T.I. yourself or Young Jeezy or somebody major, it doesn't work that way with major radio.
Right, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
You get that digital radio, but you're not gonna get that V103 status. No.
Yeah, the mainstream.
Right.
We want to touch on crisis management. Just say if an artist has gotten involved in some type of criminal activity, or they went out and did something, went in an interview and said some things they shouldn't have said, and they trying to backtrack it and straighten it up. As you being a publicist, how would you help them in that situation?
Ooh, well, by the grace of God, I've never had to deal with that situation. By the grace of God, I never have.
Okay.
But if I had to, of course, the first thing that I would tell them is to stay off social media. And I will have to spin a twist on it. I don't know, whatever he did or whatever the situation is. Right. Our job as a publicist is to spin it around and show that that's really not what happened, or create another look and say, hey, well, this is what happened, or, you know, this was the outcome, but this is what's going on now. Right. Maybe he's very apologetic. He really didn't mean to. You know, we have to spin it around and make it seem like, you know, something else. But thank God, by the grace of God, I've never had to deal with it. Every client that I work for, they know what their role is. They very, you know, productive. They game plan. I don't have those issues, and that's why I kind of hard that I don't like to work with a lot of rappers.
Well, I was going to say you have to vet
I don't.
Your
I vet them. I don't because I'm a little older, so that I don't want to hang in a strip club and do all that, which I don't do none of that. Okay. So yeah, I kind of very vet who I decide to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's touch on media training. Is media training still relevant today?
Yes.
Because some people get on the interview and just, I mean, it's just terrible. So
absolutely, a lot of people don't know how to talk. Right. You know, they don't know how to articulate, or they get on the microphone and they shy away, or they don't speak loud enough so you can't hear them, or they perform and they got their back turned. It's about presentation, or when they put on something, they smell like weed or whatever. It's definitely, media training is very, very important, because you always got to maintain eye contact. Always speak up when you're talking. You know, dress a little nice, more corporate. Don't go like we finna go perform in a club, but go more corporate. Have that look. Brand management and your image is everything in this industry.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so, you know, you want to look a certain part.
Okay.
You do.
What is your process for preparing clients for a red carpet event? Ooh. As far as with the stylists and getting with the clothing, getting with the media, how do you handle any red carpet events? What's that process like? Red
carpet events, of course, you have to know the start time. Red carpet, sometimes if it say start at 6 and end at 7, I night my clients there 5:45 on time. Right. We make sure we get that red carpet action. I make sure I know who exactly is on the red carpet, what media platform is on there, because we want to get that content from them. So I make sure that I know exactly who is on that red carpet, who is working at what media platform. I make sure they go and they got 2-3 minutes with each platform. They get their interviews, they, you know, whatever they want to say, drop their information, let them know what they got going on. We move to the next one, and I'm very particular with that. 2-3 minutes, in and out, in and out. I make sure I get their content, because we want to make sure we get that content. We want to make sure we look at who their brand is. We don't want to just work with every media platform, so we vet that as well. Yeah, it's very, very detailed. And after that, then I, you know, can escort them to wherever they want to go. Sometimes they stay, sometimes they don't, but they just want that red carpet action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's kind of touch on the challenging side of the business.
Okay.
As far as client, just say one of your clients is not happy with the service. As far as client failure is concerned as a publicist. And an accident may happen, or they feel like they may not be getting the coverage that they need, and they go into the blame game. So is it the publicist that takes the blame for them not being happy, or is it just their work ethic and they're not getting the results that they want? And you know, if you as a publicist have done everything that you can to make it happen for them. So how do you deal with clients who are just ungrateful and not thankful for what you're doing?
Again, I've never had that problem. Why? Because when I sit down and have my own branding conversation with the client, I let them know, hey, my contracts are good for 6 months.
Okay.
In this 6 months, you're going to get 1 or 2 interviews. Right. You're going to get with different podcasts each month. This is what you're going to get each month. You're going to get 1 or 2 interviews. You're going to get a blog. You're going to get a write-up. Okay. I'm going to do 1 or 2 exclusive events for you every month. This is what my expectations are every month. And every month I would deliver that. A lot of these artists needs to understand that you will not blow up overnight. So 6 months to 12 months. I have a 6-month contract, 12-month contract. Before we sign, I need you to understand you're not going to just blow up overnight. I'm going to put in the work for you to get the exposure, but that is it. This is what you're going to get every month for the next 6 months. After that, we will stop in the 6 months, see where you are, see where your numbers are, see if anything changed. And if you like what the partnership that we've created within these 6 months, and if you like it, then we'll renew the contract again.
Right.
But yeah. Okay. I cover that because I'm no returns.
Right. Okay, I got you. As far as how do you know when a client is ready for a publicist? I mean, what are 2 or 3 things that you look for?
I look at their media.
Okay. Social,
their Instagram, their Instagram numbers, their content that they post, any reels, their TikToks, their YouTube. Look at their numbers. See how many people are kind of interacting with them. See how many likes, because you can have 1 million followers, but if you only got 2 likes, that means you bought it. So I look at all of that. I look at the presentation. I look at your hustle, your drive, see how that is. And then once I see that you got motion and you moving already on your own, then okay, we can make that determination then. But if I see your numbers and you only got 500 subscribers, you got maybe 2,000 followers, then you're not ready. You're not there. So I don't deal with kind of new artists. I deal with more that's already exposed and already making movements. Okay.
Let's go back to the classifications again.
Okay.
I know you mentioned your A-listers. We all know who they are. They're the national mainstream artists. What would classify an artist as a B or a C, or for the different categories for those that don't know what that means?
So an A-list, of course, again, would be a T.I., a Jeezy, any main person, artist here in the industry that's on the radio, they on tour, they with everybody. Right. Okay. Even a B-lister would be, they're still up there, but they haven't came out with as much, content. They still, good. But they like on the second level, third level, and they're still out, but they're not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
It's but like a buzz,
they done put in a little work, but right now they just chilling.
Right.
But a D-lister or for me is somebody that's, you can tell they're coming. They got the followers. They're working. They got that work ethic. They just haven't hit that level. So they're not signed to anybody. They don't have a distribution deal, or they're doing all the work on their self. So they're marketing themselves. They're getting out and going on little tours on different cities. So they're moving up. Those are the ones that you want to work with, because those are the ones that you see. They got that hustle. They got that fire, and they have that potential to be that D-lister and go all the way up to that A-lister. So yeah, you just look for different levels when you work with clients. Yeah,
that's good. As far as in the music industry, what do you recommend for anyone that wants to be a publicist in general? What kind of advice can you give them?
You got to have a passion for it. If you don't have a passion to really know this industry, a passion to really want to help people, but you also got to have some street knowledge. I was born in Decatur. I got 5 brothers, so I was kind of raised different. So this is a male-dominant industry. So you have to kind of be a dog in this industry. And when I say dog, I don't mean like, bad, but you got to have that grind. You got to have that hustle. Right. You got to be able to be in rooms with executives, CEOs, $1 million people that might not, they might not have that personality, but you go in there and you sell yourself and say you stand on what you believe in, what you firm in. They show that you're serious, you're ready to work. You got to have that hustle. I can't teach you how to have that hustle. I can teach you, to come out and network and do all that. But if you don't have that grind, that hustle, don't know how to talk to them to get them to see you, they be like, okay, I see you, KP. Then no, it's just, you just got to have that passion for it. You got to have that dog.
Yeah, you're born with it.
You got it.
Right. And is there anybody in the industry you want to work with? Or what would be your dream client as a publicist?
I would love to work with Beyonce. I would love to work with Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. I would love to work with major females that's already in the industry, but I would like to go more international. Also, I don't want to just kind of focus on the in-state. I would like to do more Afro beats, more artists that's, in Ghana or India, China. I want to learn the international side. I think for me that'd be more of a challenge. I like that. Yeah.
Tell us about some of the new developments KP working on. What's some of the newest projects you have in your umbrella that you?
So the newest thing is I just dropped my entertainment company called Pretty Girls Work Entertainment.
Okay.
Me being a publicist, I don't want to just focus myself on being a celebrity publicist. I also want to do, like I just said, promos and tours. So what that means, I want to work with a lot of heavy promoters, not just in Atlanta, in Houston, LA, Miami. Right. We even, like I said, go international, and I want to be able to create those tours. A lot like for now, Jacquees is on tour. So they look for artists, hey, if you want a headline for Jacquees, this is what it is. So they can charge you from $5,000, $10,000. Soulja Boy's doing a tour. They can charge you up to $20,000 because that's their tour. So to get that exposure, you're going to pay for it. So with me, it's a lot of artists that I see that has that same potential, don't have that bigger budget, but I can still set up tours and work with different promoters that we can do something big or we can do something small. But I want to be able to be more well-rounded instead of just being a publicist. I want to be a major promoter. I want a different help. I would love to be, go to a record label and be, head of A&R for this label, CEO for my own label. Right. So instead of, like they said, instead of sitting at the tables that other people create your own table. And make them sit at your table. Yeah, that's true. So that's what I did. I decided to create my own table. Me as a female, a black female. In this game, it's not many female club promoters. Right. It's not many female tour promoters. So why not start the trend of just, hey, I'm going to create my own and I'm going to do it. So I just launched that actually. I launched it earlier this year, but I just really rebranded it and relaunched it again today because I see a lot of artists that needs the help and exposure. And I'm starting to see that instead of me being a publicist, I think I'm going to get more with the consultant and the teaching because a lot of these artists needs teaching. They see it, but they need you to teach them this industry. Right. So I'd rather be in it myself and doing the footwork, and then I can teach the clients. And then I could create the field and lane for them myself.
Right. And when are your grand opening for this particular, or is it already
Well, it just launched today, but I haven't did any grand opening with it yet, but it will be. If it's not this year, it would definitely be in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how can anyone that's in the business or aspiring to be in the business contact you?
Well, my social media is officially KP the Publicist. My Facebook, of course, is my Kimberly Parks. You can send me a DM. I have my website, Pretty Girls Work Consulting. You can go on there and set up a time if you want to consult with me. I don't give out my number, but my email address also is imkp986@gmail.com. So it's plenty of ways you can reach out to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any advice for women, like you just mentioned yourself as being, African-American female in this male-dominated industry, and you also kind of broke that down a little bit about being a dog and things of that nature as far as having characteristics to be able to go out and make the money. Is there money to be made in this industry?
Definitely money.
Or just an unlimited cap? We ain't going to put a price on it, but
you just had to know where to get it.
Where to go get the money at.
You do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely money to be made, and it's definitely money to have. It is. You just got to know where to go and be at the right place at the right time and present yourself. People want to see what you do. That's all it is. Once they see how you work and you're connected, it's an easy transition.
Okay. Any advice for new artists coming in the game? Just a couple of gems you can drop on them.
Hey, stay consistent. Stay consistent. Right. Keep doing your content. Just still have that passion and that drive that you have for your craft. Never give up, no matter how long it's going to take. Sometimes you got to put in that work. So just never give up.
Okay. And thank you. I want to thank you again for coming out to Streetpreneur Podcast.
Thank you.
And my watchers and listeners out there, I hope that you find this information very informative today. She dropped a lot of gems for new artists and those managers and promoters also who are interested in getting in the business and also need to connect with her. So please give her a call, reach out to her. And again, we want to thank you for coming out to the show.
Thank you.
Please hit that like button, that share and subscribe, and also leave a comment if you found this interview today to be very informative that can help you. Thank you again, KP, Celebrity Publicist, for coming to the show.
No.